a little more into depth. So I'm going to kind of cruise through this AVID market update, possibly skip a few slides, but if I go too fast, you just let me know. I'll send it to you later.
Cap rate change from a number of months ago on this, and they're actually numbers.
Yeah, we're hitting fives on these. Exactly. Our 6 months trailing is still below 5, as you'll see in a minute, but yeah, it's well, and the interest rates have been affecting the market as they're designed to do. So I spoke with Dave Rusk today, and rates went down today after some favorable inflation data, and the market is sitting right smack dab in the middle of its highest point and its lowest point last year. And so we had a whole lot of activity in February when rates took a little dip, and then they went back up, and maybe that's why everyone kind of paused again, but they went back down today. So I hope that kind of reignites that spring energy that we felt in February. From a market perspective, how is the market? I just took that slide out because I'm like, I have boots on the ground, ears to the ground, and it's a little bit of everything all at once. There's no one way to define this market right now. So these rates may help it pick a trend and run with it. But 6.75, that's lower. We actually have to change our performance, because now if you put 40% down, and I didn't adjust it yet on these, but your cash flow will get a little better on these, because when you put your 40% down, the rate I have in there 6.99%. Now it's 6.625. Idaho Central is given a good credit. If you do 40%, they're giving you a better rate. Owner occupiers are still at 6.75. And so here's one slide that shows all over the ice how the market is at year over year. Overall median sales price in Ada County is up a little bit, up 7.5%, but month over month, it's almost the same, 0.3%. Resale is up 6.5%, but down month over month. And then new construction is up more. It went up almost 10% since last year at this time, but only up 0.4% since last month. And if you look at the market right now, Corey Barton has some price drops and price incentives. So again, you've got real-time data, some price drops from today, last month's data that still shows an incline. It's just moving all over the place. And so here's some of that data. Days on market are down, and overall number of sales, home sold is up, and inventory has gone up. And inventory was a big part and has been a big part of our story. So we've had some of the inventory coming up, as you would expect with spring. And now, do we have the buyers, and are they going to come flood us with inquiries? Some of them are there. Some of the houses are getting multiple offers, and others are taking a more realistic, reasonable, old school amount of time to sell, like a month or two. So, which is still typically considered favorable in recent times. It got crazy. Canyon County median price is lower, but it's up. Days on market is actually down a little bit, actually down 26%. And inventory, again, up significantly, and number of homes sold up just a little bit. So a lot of data all over the place, similar in duplexes and fourplexes where we had the inventory increase. Those pending deals jumped, and some of that was that February flurry. And then sales, not that many. And absorption, which is how many months supply you have, that's a little bit higher right now. All of a sudden our absorption's at 9 and 10. So while we were rocking 2 months, which is really low, super seller market, this absorption number today is more like a buyer's market. However, it's also a snapshot in time that we think is going to move around a little bit more. So
weeks or months?
Months.
Months?
Yeah. And so look at this. I'm going to skip ahead a slide. Look at this. This is so interesting. Okay, the blue is what's sold, and then the green is the number of listings. And so we had not very many listings and nothing selling in January. And then all of a sudden we had a few, so the listings have kind of been going up and down. So we've only had 7 fourplexes sell in Ada County since the start of the year. And right now we have 12 that are active, and that's just more than we've had for a while. And there it is, 12. So, and this shows your average days on market, and this is Tony Dross data. And so days on market has been climbing so far this year. However, we had that little flurry and I think it's spring. We'll see what's taking shape, but we've got 52 days on market for fourplexes on average in Ada County. And this is what's active. So all of a sudden we have 12 active here. And last month, some of the active ones, I was like, nope, 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 don't buy those. We don't want the broken fourplexes because a bunch of reasons. But those are no longer on here. And I didn't check, I forgot to check if they sold or if they just got taken off market. But there's a couple good ones on here. Wilson Lane, I like that. We priced it very fairly. Charm, that's a great community. That's the same as the Lucky Lane community. And that's a very comparable great fourplex that I wouldn't mind owning in that community. It's off of Pierce Park at State. And then unique one about that listing is that the tenants pay their own water bill. Separate water meters, usually don't see that in fourplexes. And then if you wanted to pay more, that ski jump pro forma looks pretty darn good because that's new. So it's only, 100,000 more as a new property. But Brandon, you know about that one, you're shaking your head, you tell us.
I went in a few of theirs, they built out in Nampa and build quality is terrible. And the cluster performance they have higher rents on there than I think they're located. That's kind of so like a person.
And I agree 110% with that. So they're the 3-story units and their build quality is not that impressive. Tony Dross would agree with you as well. And then you've got your forced management. And it's the builder developer out of Utah, where it's the developer is also the company who's with the builder. And then also they have their own agents. And then also they have their own property manager. And they also have their own HOA property manager. And so good luck if they don't do a good job. If you're not happy with them as managers, it's going to be really hard to vote out that HOA manager if they're that intertwined with each other. So, but I mean, I'm sure the bylaws are fair and it could be done, and there's we don't know exactly if they really manage it all from Utah, but there's a lot of Utah, Idaho, a lot of their business is based out of Utah. So, yes.
They have someone.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, when it was coming to sales, they used to have, their agents were based out of Utah, so you had a different way of touring them. And then I actually saw them when they still did the real estate, which is where anybody who ever gets slapped on the wrist as a licensed agent, they list them in there, and they had a couple slaps on the wrist for practicing real estate without an Idaho license, but they got that all sorted out. It's probably administrative. But anyway, from a, sorry, now I'm gasping. Oh my God, what the heck is going on around here? Yeah, so the numbers though, if you just want to look at a pro forma, that 1,049,000 for a newer fourplex, it's going to have a higher cap rate and it's new. So with those two data points, you're like, well, why buy these other ones? And those are the reasons that someone might choose a different product. What's that?
Square footage. What size are they? 3 bedroom?
Yeah, I think they're 3 bedrooms. And they have, so they get garner a little more rent that way as well. But still they probably, but yeah, they have, I don't know whether they had to do what they had to do to get their rents, but they have proven rents. So we'll see. Here's our Canyon County active fourplexes as well. I think Surfers Point is the same builder and their HOA fees are $760 a month. And I've really called that out in previous AVID meetings, but because I was really diving deeper to make sure our listing was priced perfectly and all that, I did learn that does include water. So that's usually not something I'd expect to see included in an HOA fee. So it does at least include an extra expense for that extra money per month that I'm not used to seeing. And here's what we have for 5+ units. The Franklin Street's in North Boise, that's Airbnb, and it was owned by a builder/agent who does a lot of his own work and has put a lot of money and work into that one. And anyone else have any comments on these listings to share? North Maple Grove is back. Brandon, did you look at North Maple Grove?
Still waiting on the numbers.
I don't think it's the same one.
Okay.
Okay, vacancy data. Steve, this is for you. We got the NARPM data and vacancy, it's, it's really weird in a way. That's a little bit all over the ice as well. Because when you read the report, it talks about vacancy kind of going up a little bit, but then in the chart, it doesn't look like it's up much. So I guess it depends whether you're looking at single family, which is green, multifamily, which is red, or blue, which is combined. But in any event, we've been talking about qualitatively how rents aren't being pushed up a lot. Oh, well, I'll let you get to that in a second. But in fact, let me do that now. Oh, Danielle, I forget me. Where'd you go? Danielle, what's going on in the rental market?
Can I just sit here?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay, perfect. So, it's been a little slow the last few weeks, but as we're approaching Memorial Day, it's gonna kick back up. I think my main point now is there's so much on the market, so shop your comps, and that's very, very important right now. And we've kind of talked about it, but be fair on your increases, see what other people around you are renting their homes or apartments for. Yeah, it's gonna get busy, so be ready.
What's going up or down or?
Kind of in the middle.
Yeah, they haven't been doing big increases, from what we've seen so far. I had a slide.
Would have been on. But.
And we also had Melissa Sharon from First Rate Property Management also weighed in on the rental market and said a very similar thing, that they've seen activity pick up a little bit. Overall, they're not really pushing rents. Retention is the name of the game, and we're starting to see a lot more articles coming out on how do you retain good tenants, because there's just more opportunity, and we're going to continue to see more opportunities as all of these new builds start to present themselves. We're seeing a lot more concessions. So one way to hit your numbers is to offer a concession, and then hopefully they stay. And so while they got the first month free, they're already at that $14.25 a month or whatever your rent is, and hopefully they stay. And in some cases, you don't want to have an eightplex where they're all similar units, and if the modern rents aren't quite there, you don't want to rent it for less, because if your tenants see that a unit's gone down, then they're going to want their rent to go down. So concessions have been used to overcome that hurdle while we wait for the market to kind of make sure it's where it was. And I had a couple slides I must have accidentally deleted. But the rent increases, the median rent. So Zillow has this cool rental manager, and the median rents were also really interesting. Like Boise's median rent was down like $50 year over year, but Meridian's median rent was up $200 year over year. And then Nampa and Caldwell had some similar kinds of data, but that's median rent. And it's also going to be affected what's going to affect it is whether these are new or used units. Here's what your rents are looking like for the various bedrooms, bathrooms.
This is a typical concession, like 2 weeks of free rent or a month, or what would be typical?
Danielle, what are you seeing? Because you're at Urban Edge Property Management.
I think you can start lower, see what happens, and then increase.
Should start with 1 week.
Yeah. I even started with one of my lower price rentals at $100. That did. But so try a week and then increase it. I wouldn't go for it.
Could you guys hear that on Zoom? No? Okay, so Danielle said, you can start lower. You don't have to give away a whole month right away, but starting a concession at a week, or if it's a lower price rental, even $100, but just kind of throw a carrot. Average single family, multifamily rents for the number of units. Tom, they're showing multifamily 1 bedrooms around 1,300. And that's pretty much it for the market rent update. Any questions?
I can't see. What does it say for 3 bedroom? Or is that 4?
Around 2,000, right around 2,000 in Ada and Canyon. 4-bedroom, they have 4-bedroom, they don't have much data. I would say that 4-bedroom data looks a little high to me right now. They have it at 28. We would probably, depending on where things go right now, but 23, 25 is about more what my gut would say on that.
How do people live?
Well, and the mortgages, you know, at median price of homes
Yeah, yeah. I know.
are even more with the
Yeah.
interest rates today. Any other questions? Well, thanks for bearing with me as I stumbled through that. Sorry for all my interesting,